You got paid Friday. By Monday, most of it was gone: rent, groceries, gas, insurance. Your paycheck didn't shrink, but every dollar you earn in 2024 buys what 82 cents bought just 4 years ago. Prices climbed over 21%. Your wages didn't keep up. You're not bad with money. The money itself changed, and it starts with a gap almost nobody is talking about. On paper, your paycheck might look the same as it did a few years ago. Maybe it's even gone up a little. But when you stack it against the prices you face every week, something does not add up. This is not just a feeling. The math backs it up. Since the end of 2020, the average price of goods and services in the United States has climbed over 21%. Wages, on the other hand, have only risen about 17% in the same window. That gap, just a few percentage points, quietly chips away at what your money can actually do. If you earned $1 in 2020, that same dollar in 2024 only covers about 82 cents worth of what it used to buy. The numbers show it clearly. Your paycheck's face value has not changed, but its power has. Before you even pay a single bill, you are already behind. It is not because you are spending more on wants or living beyond your means. It is because the dollars in your account simply do not stretch as far as they did. The invisible squeeze is not about budgeting harder or cutting out small luxuries. It is about the shrinking distance your paycheck travels in a world where prices have marched ahead faster than your pay. The moment your rent comes out, it is like the rest of your paycheck is already spoken for. For millions of renters, housing is not just the biggest bill. It is the one that decides what is left for everything else. Since 2019, median rent in the United States has jumped about 38%, a rise that far outpaces what most paychecks have managed to keep up with. The typical renter now faces a monthly bill around $1,400, and that is before utilities or other fees even hit. This is not just a coastal city problem. Across the country, more than half of all renter households are officially considered cost-burdened. That means they spend over 30% of their income just to keep a roof overhead. That is about 22 million households, each one feeling the pressure before groceries, gas, or insurance even enter the picture. For middle-income renters, those earning between $45,000 and $75,000, nearly half are now cost-burdened too. When rent eats first, it leaves little room for anything else. The numbers show it clearly. After rent is paid, the leftover cash often is not enough to cover the rest of life's essentials, let alone allow for savings or breathing room. The squeeze starts here, with housing quietly taking the biggest bite out of every paycheck every month. Standing in the grocery aisle, you might feel like you are shopping the same way you always have. Same cart, same list, same paycheck. But the total at the register keeps creeping up, even when you have not changed a thing. Since 2020, grocery prices have jumped 24.7%. That is not just a few extra dollars here and there. The average household now spends over $10,000 a year on food, a figure that has climbed sharply even as paychecks have barely budged. Protein, a basic part of most meals, costs over 21% more than it did 4 years ago. That is not just steak and chicken. Eggs, cheese, beans, and even peanut butter have all gotten pricier. But sometimes the price tag does not even tell the whole story. Shrinkflation is everywhere. Cereal boxes that look the same but hold less, chip bags puffed with air, juice bottles trimmed by a few ounces. The label reads the same price, but you are getting less for your money every time. It is a quiet way your grocery budget gets squeezed, making each dollar stretch even less. When you compare your receipt today to one from just a couple of years back, the difference is hard to ignore. You are not buying more, you are just paying more for less. This is not about splurging or shopping carelessly. These are the numbers for basic groceries, the things every household needs. The rising cost of food joins rent as another essential that eats up more of your paycheck, leaving less for everything else. Each trip to the supermarket is another reminder that your money does not go as far as it used to, no matter how carefully you plan or how many deals you hunt for. The list of bills does not end with rent and groceries. Every household faces a stack of other essentials that quietly add up, each one taking another slice from what is left of your paycheck. Energy costs are a prime example. Since 2020, energy prices have soared by 43.3%. That means every time you flip a light switch, run the heat, or fill up the tank, you are feeling a bigger hit than you did just a few years ago. For many, these are not luxuries. They are the basics that keep daily life running. Insurance is another drain that is hard to avoid. Car insurance alone has jumped 12.3% in 2024, the fastest pace in decades. Even if you have not had an accident or changed cars, your premium keeps rising. Healthcare, too, keeps climbing. The average annual increase for healthcare costs sits at 4.9% year after year, whether you visit the doctor or not. Childcare is right there with it, up 7.7% in 2024, making it harder for working parents to get ahead. For a single parent, these bills are relentless. Each one lands with its own due date, demanding attention before you can even think about saving or spending on anything extra. Subscriptions are part of the squeeze as well. The average household now pays for at least 4 different services: streaming, cloud storage, maybe a fitness app or two. These monthly charges seem small, but together they quietly siphon away more of your paycheck. Each service might have only gone up a few dollars, but add them all together and it is another chunk gone. What is left when all these essentials are paid? For many, not much. The steady rise in every category, energy, insurance, healthcare, childcare, and even subscriptions means your paycheck is being pulled in more directions than ever before. It is not about overspending or poor planning. It is the reality of trying to cover basic needs as the cost of each one keeps climbing, leaving less and less room for anything else. You might hear on the news that inflation is finally cooling off, with headlines pointing to numbers dropping from a 40-year high of 9.1% in 2022 to around 2.7% today. But that does not mean prices are going back down. What actually happened is that the pace of price increases slowed, not that the cost of living reversed. Once a gallon of milk or a bag of groceries jumps by 20 or 30%, it rarely slides back to where it started. Instead, those higher prices become the new normal, the floor you are stuck with. So even as economists celebrate lower inflation rates, your grocery bill, your rent, and your insurance premium are all still sitting at those elevated levels. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the Consumer Price Index has climbed steadily since 2020, and it has not come down. The rate of change cooled, but the totals remain locked in. That is why your paycheck feels smaller, even if the number on it has not changed. The distance between what you earn and what you need to cover keeps getting wider, and there is no sign those prices are rolling back. Every month, it feels like your paycheck is already gone before you can even think about saving. This is not just a personal struggle, it is a system working exactly as designed. In 2024, corporate profits hit 11% of the nation's gross domestic product, the highest share in decades. Companies have managed to keep prices high, even as their own costs have leveled off, turning inflation into a permanent profit engine. Meanwhile, most workers have not seen raises that keep up. More than half of Americans who got a raise say it did not match the higher prices they face. That means even when your paycheck goes up, it often just disappears into the same old bills like rent, groceries, and insurance, without making life feel any easier. The fallout is everywhere. Nearly 1 in 3 adults cannot cover 3 months of expenses if something goes wrong. 2 out of 3 people say they feel financially strained at least once a month, and for many, it is every week. The numbers tell a story that is hard to ignore. This is not about skipping lattes or cutting back on takeout. It is about a system where the rewards keep flowing upward, while households are left with less and less margin for error. The pressure is real, and it is not your fault. Right now, your paycheck still carries the same number, but it buys less of the life you work for each month. As prices keep outpacing wages, the squeeze isn't personal, it's systemic. Until paychecks match reality, that silent gap shapes every choice you make. Let me know your experience below.